Hello, and welcome to Rural Community Assistance Corporation's virtual Rock Workshop Series, Module number 4. My name is Carly Salisbury. I am a Rural Development Specialist with RCAC, and I am joined today with my two co-facilitators.
I'm Nick Dorr with Opportunity Link Incorporated in Havre, Montana.
And I'm Madison Wilhite with the Native American Development Corporation in Billings, Montana.
Let's take a moment to recognize our funder. The Virtual Rock Workshop Series was developed and is being facilitated by RCAC and its local partners thanks to generous funding from the U.S. Department of Commerce Minority Business Development Agency. During Module 1, we discussed the 8 forms of assets and used the spider diagram to evaluate each type of asset in your community. During Module 2, we introduced the value chain and looked at the 3 types of value chain partners and the levels of interest and how each is needed to construct and implement a value chain. During Module 3, we introduced the Icehouse Discovery Canvas and used that to reframe your economic opportunity into a solution that addresses a community problem. If you need a refresher, feel free to watch the videos again. If you have any questions, you can always post them to your community's ROC Facebook group or ask during the online interactive session. In this module, we will learn how to connect with demand partners by developing an elevator pitch, and learn how to test the demand for your economic opportunity. The learning objectives for this module include to identify owners and leaders for economic opportunities, to practice connecting with potential customers, and to learn new ways to test demand. The handouts for this module are available in your workbook so you can follow along. The module 4 PowerPoint slides with space next to each slide for notes, a handout with sample elevator pitches, developing an elevator pitch activity, and the canvassing demand activity.
Value chains can have multiple players, all with different levels of interest and many moving parts. So it's no surprise that in order for a value chain to succeed, there has to be control and ownership. What do we mean by ownership of a value chain? We're not just talking about a financial or legal authority over the project. We're talking about who's leading the value chain, who's developing it, who's pushing it forward, who's advocating for it. There needs to be someone organizing and leading the value chain because a value chain does not organize itself. It could be an individual, meaning you have control over it, or it could be an organization where the organization controls it, but you still play a role in advocating for it, supporting it. For example, like speaking to your local leaders for political and financial support. Regardless of whether it is you or someone else taking ownership of the value chain, the interest in developing and maintaining the value chain always needs to be there. Here are some examples of how a value chain can be owned or led. The community scenario highlights an example of a cooperative taking ownership of a value chain. A tribal gas station and convenience store is an example of a tribally owned and controlled value chain or economic opportunity. A tribal housing authority can have control or ownership over an affordable housing value chain. There's no one size fits all. Remember, a value chain does not self-organize. Leadership is necessary no matter who owns it or controls it. So always ask, who is the leader? Who is the owner? Who controls it? And who is the coordinator that is linking the partners together? Take some time to recreate your value chain map with new information you have gathered throughout the week, including new partners and support roles. Have you been able to identify more specific partner names and connections to move your value chain forward? If you are not the owner of the value chain, have you identified an owner and how do they fit into the value chain? So why do we keep asking you to reevaluate your value chain? Why are we stressing this so much? Because understanding all of the partners and how they work together will help you identify what's missing, what's working, what's not working, and how exactly you will address those gaps. We also want you to be aware of partners that sometimes seem hidden, like the support partners, because they play a critical role in sustainable success of a venture. The key here is to see the value chain map as a living document, continually evolving and updating.
During the previous module, we presented the Icehouse Discovery Canvas, which is all about reframing an economic opportunity as a solution to a problem your community has. Developing a pitch for your economic opportunity gives you a chance to connect with your customers or demand partners. So what is a pitch? A pitch is a clear and concise description of a business. An elevator pitch is similar. It describes your customer's problem, how you solve the problem, and why your solution is worthwhile. This is a pitch example pulled from the workbook. There are several other pitches in the workbook. Some of them are good and others need a bit more help. As I read the elevator pitch, think about the following questions. Is the pitch clear? Does it identify who the customers are? What is the problem? How are they solving it? And why is their solution worthwhile? Here's the pitch. Friends of the Local Trail System was established to maintain the beautiful network of our inner city trails and connect community members to the outdoors with informative signs. So, is the pitch clear? Yes, they state who they are and what they do. Does it identify who the customers are? Yes, in this case, their customers are the community members. What is the problem? From this pitch, it's unclear what the problem is. How are they solving it? Although the problem isn't stated, the solution they have developed is maintaining the trail network and posting informative signs. Why is their solution worthwhile? From the pitch, it is a bit unclear why their solution is worthwhile. We have rewrote their pitch to highlight the problem and add more information about their solution. This doesn't mean that the pitch is perfect. It takes practice to develop and deliver a clear and concise message. Let's read it together. Our local community has a network of trails throughout the city. However, they have been poorly maintained and residents either don't know they exist or find them unsafe to use. Friends of the Local Trail System was established to maintain the beautiful network of inner city trails and to connect community members to the outdoors with clear trail markings and informative signs. So ask yourself, do you feel connected to this pitch? Do you think they have fully addressed why this problem is worth solving? What could you do to make this pitch better? Add a sentence or two to this pitch to make it better and post it to your virtual ROC Facebook group. Once you feel comfortable communicating your idea as a solution to a problem and then connecting with your customers using the pitch, it's time to start canvassing or surveying your customers. We use canvassing as another tool to test demand. The Icehouse Canvas, which we introduced in the previous module, is an internal tool that helps you to reframe your idea into a solution that addresses a problem, and then identify who has that problem and how will you connect with them. Canvassing demand gives you the opportunity to observe the problem and to get out of the building to test your product, service, or project. So what is canvassing? Canvassing demand is a short survey to gather data from your demand partners. Remember that economic opportunities, value chains, or products, services, or projects we are all working on, they all start with demand. The goal of canvassing is to better understand your demand partners and if your idea meets their needs. The only way to find out is to develop a list of questions and ask. Then, listen to the people you survey. Sometimes what you're offering is not exactly what they need, and you may have to adjust your idea, and that's okay. It's just part of the process. Next, you have to go where demand is. For example, if you are developing a trail system, it might be wise to go to the local parks and gather feedback from those consumers. For the community scenario, it would be beneficial to go to the local grocery store and canvass demand there. An advantage of face-to-face polls is that you can treat the survey like an interview instead of a questionnaire. You can ask follow-up questions, gauge body language as they respond. However, these face-to-face polls can be time-consuming, expensive, and respondents may tell you what they think you want to hear instead of how they really feel. Finding our demand partners on social media can be as simple as finding the groups that would be interested in your project. For example, the We Love Dogs group or a senior walking group could be used to survey demand for the trail system. Other groups could include your local community Facebook group. Social media polls are a great alternative since they are quick and easy to conduct, and they can reach a broad audience. However, you don't want to overload your potential customers with too much content, so be mindful of how much you are providing.
Use the developing an elevator pitch activity from your workbook to develop your 30 to 60 second elevator pitch to deliver to partners. Using the questions as a guide, your pitch should be simple, memorable, focused, and convincing. You can also look up elevator pitches on YouTube. There are plenty of examples. After you develop your pitch, it is time to practice. Ask a friend or family member for help as you give your pitch. Afterwards, ask them to provide feedback. During the online interactive sessions, we will ask for volunteers to give us their pitch. Afterwards, develop a sample set of survey questions that you would use to test demand. We don't expect you to go out and survey demand for the community scenario. However, if you are developing your own project, it is strongly recommended that you do take the time to survey demand. During the online interactive session, we will go over the survey questions you have developed. Thank you for participating in the Virtual Rock Workshop series. We look forward to connecting with you during your community's next online interactive session. In the meantime, please feel free to post your thoughts and questions about module number 4 in your community's Facebook group. You can also contact myself, Nick Dorr with Opportunity Link Incorporated, or Madison Wilhite with the Native American Development Corporation if you have questions or need any assistance. Our contact information is included in the front of your workbook.